So here, let me explain the different kind of fluid in the body: isotonic, hypotonic, and hypertonic. These three solutions are widely used in healthcare setting. And as a RN or LPN, you must know how each of the solution work on the body and why they are given. In NCLEX board, sometimes asks question from here. And because of NCLEX exam, you will be required to know what type of IV fluid are considered isotonic, hypertonic, and hypotonic. The first one here, it is isotonic, means the tonicity is normal. What is tonicity? So tonicity is a measure of the effective osmotic pressure gradient. So this osmotic pressure gradient of two solutions separated by a semi-permeable membrane. In the other words, tonicity is the relative concentration of its solution that determined the direction and extent of diffusion. This tonicity, it is commonly used when we describing the response of cell immersed in an external solution. The first, I said there are three types of fluid in our hospital setting we use: isotonic, hypotonic, and hypertonic. So let me go isotonic first. So isotonic, as I told you, the tonicity. What is tonicity? The concentration of the solution or number of dissolved particles in a IV solution. Like this picture, this is the IV solution. And keep in mind, tonicity is always compared to intracellular fluid. I'm going to talk isotonic fluid. So in case of isotonic fluid, tonicity or concentration of solution or number of dissolved particles is equal to intracellular fluid, because I told you tonicity is always compared to the intracellular fluid, right? Let me read what we wrote. When the solution on both sides of a selectively permeable membrane have established equilibrium or are equal in concentration, they are isotonic. Isotonic solutions are isotonic to human cell, thus very little osmosis occur. isotonic solution have the same osmolarity as the body fluid. So in this picture, this is the normal red blood cell. If you put the normal blood cell in an isotonic solution, their size and shape will be normal. So because this is isotonic and the tonicity is equal to intracellular fluid. So what are the use of isotonic solution in the hospital setting? We use isotonic solution for dehydration or shock, fluid volume deficit, or if patient blood pressure go up. If patient need blood transfusion, that times we use isotonic solution accompany with blood transfusion. So here some example of isotonic solution. I say left 0.9% sodium chloride, lactate ringer solution, especially we prescribe for burn patient. Ringer solution itself, lactate ringer or ringer, 5% dextrose in water. This is the example of isotonic solution. Sometimes we talk 5% dextrose in water. Shortly 5% DW, dextrose in water. 5% dextrose in 0.02 to 5% saline or lactate ringer, most commonly we use for burn patient, or 0.9% sodium chloride or normal saline. The next one, it is hypertonic solution. Hypertonic means tonicity greater than intracellular fluid. And hypertonic solution, this will causes the water to move out of the cell and causes the cell to shrink. Let me read it. A solution that has a higher concentration of solute than another less concentrated solution. This solution have a higher osmolarity than the body fluid. Like here, I'm talking about hypertonic. So in the picture, you can see when a red blood cell inside the hypertonic solution, as per I told, greater tonicity is greater than intracellular fluid, because description is always compared with intracellular fluid. It is the constraint. So when you put the red blood cell in hypertonic solution, this will cause the water to move out from red blood cell and causes the cell to shrink. Hypertonic solution here never give hypertonic fluid to the patient that are dehydrated, such as DKA. The tonicity will cause the cell to shrink and dying out. The example of hypertonic solution, most common we use, 3% sodium chloride, 5% sodium chloride. So the normal isotonic is 0.9%. If anything more than 0.9%, it is hypertonic. Like 3% sodium chloride or normal saline, 5% sodium chloride or normal saline. Or I said 5% dextrose, like here, or more than 5% dextrose in water, or 5% dextrose in lactate ringer, 5% dextrose in 0.45% saline, or 5% dextrose in 0.9% saline, or 10% dextrose in water. So 5% dextrose in water is isotonic, but 10% dextrose in water is hypertonic. For NCLEX board, keep in mind, never give hypertonic solution to the patient that are dehydrated, like DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis. Never give it to them. Next one is a hypotonic. So hypotonic solution. When a solution contains a lower concentration of salt or solute than another more concentrated solution, it is considered hypotonic. A hypotonic solution has less salt or more water than an isotonic solution. This solution have lower osmolarity than body fluid. Hypotonic solutions are hypotonic to the cell. Therefore, osmosis would continue in an attempt to bring about the balance and equality. So, in case of hypotonic solution, the tonicity or concentration of dissolved particles is less than intracellular fluid. Let me recap it. Why intracellular fluid? Because this is always compared to intracellular fluid. So in this picture, you can see when you put a red blood cell inside hypotonic solution, cell is swelling because fluid go inside, right? So in case of hypotonic, water is drawn or move inside the cell, which causes the cell to swelling up like this picture. And now let me explain, or let me give you some example of hypotonic IV fluid. So 0.9% sodium chloride or normal saline isotonic. If anything more than 0.9%, example like 5%, 3%, sodium chloride is hypertonic. If anything less than 0.9%, it is hypotonic, like 0.45%, 0.33%, 0.2, it is less than this, it is hypotonic. Another example like 0.045% saline or half of the normal saline is a hypotonic. Keep in mind, hypotonic solution never give the patient with a liver disease or never give patient burn or trauma. Patient with increase the intracranial pressure. If you give them, intracranial pressure go up. Now, as I told you, 0.45, 0.33, 0.2 is less than 0.9 normal saline. Whatever this, 2.5 is more than 0.9. Why it is hypo? I am talking about 0.9% saline or sodium chloride, but here you see 2.5% dextrose in water. Content is different. 5% dextrose in water. So you have to compare with 5% with this. More than 5% dextrose in water, hypertonic. But less than 5%, example, 2.5% or half, it is dextrose in water is a hypotonic solution.